Så hej allihopa, jag heter Kevin och jag är tillbaka med en nya video på min kanal. Och jag skulle fortsätta i engelska därför att jag är inte svenska. Jag är faktiskt nederländska men who actually cares, you know? It's kind of funny to start off in a different language than I'm used to do. And I hope that I'm not screaming because I can't really hear myself quite well. I have something in my ear. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it shouldn't be any problem for making this video whatsoever. So as with most videos, I try to make a video whenever I feel like this is something that I don't know why, but I just want to share because it genuinely makes me happy to share it. And today I would like to discuss and start off with the topic, which is actually what's the difference between a goal and a purpose. Because I'm not gonna say quite out loud that I found my purpose. Well, I might think that I could have found something which could potentially be it, but only time will tell if it actually turns out to be the thing, you know. So without further ado, I'm actually like one of my other videos, which I've actually never uploaded. What I will do is I will write down some things on paper, and then I will just film that, and then I will talk about it and switch back to the face camera, and so on and so on. So, like I just said, I'm gonna write down goal versus purpose, and then with a couple of the things that just pop on in my mind when I think about these different terms. So, as promised, I wrote some things down on paper, and I will do it like this. I hope it works. Looks beautiful to me. So, my little notebook. So, I had goal and I had purpose. And yeah, I just think I switch back real quick. Because when I look at it myself, then I could read it out loud for the sake that it's standing there on paper, but I don't think that provides any value. I can feel that it doesn't. So when I think about goal, it's like I wrote down. It's something that you work toward. So because you work towards it, for example, let's say you're a football player and you're in a team at a very low team, and your goal is to eventually end up in a higher playing team in one of the better leagues in Europe or wherever. Doesn't really matter. Maybe as a European you might actually want to end up playing in South Africa. Who knows? South Africa. No, South America, Southern America. Because there's also quite good teams right there, over there. That has sort of a final destination, you know. Eventually, you can go towards that, and this is quite a big goal, but you can move towards that, and eventually you've completed it, or you've not. And I didn't think about that one, actually, if you have not completed it, because usually that results in negative emotions, but anyway, that's a little bit out of the scope that I wanted to go into. So I think that was just to illustrate my purpose. Like, a goal can be completed and you work towards it. It has like I wrote down, like destination. It has a clear end, or it can be completed. That's what gets into my mind when I think about a goal. Also, before I go to purpose, the reason that I thought about this topic in the first place is because goal, objective, and purpose are interchangeably used when people actually talk about other topics like motivation and discipline and stuff like that. And I think those topics are quite popular on YouTube, to be completely honest. Like, a lot of people actually talk about how to get discipline and this and that, and they actually never get to the core of it. Because life would be too easy if you just have a goal or an objective. I've done it. I've said you're a successful person if you do something that you want to do. And then it kept me very motivated for a long time. or if I every day would wake up with a goal, then my days would be structured much clearer. But the thing is, and I think this beautifully linked to what I just said, and this is completely spontaneous of topic stuff, but those goals are all gonna be completed sometime. Either they are very small goals and they can be completed relatively quickly, or they are very big goals and you can be distracted very quickly of those same goals, which means that you have emotions interfering and distract you from your goal. So having a goal on its own doesn't really serve any value to actually becoming disciplined or motivated. At least for me it doesn't. Maybe for a lot of people it works. For me it hasn't worked out. That's exactly why I discover different things and why I thought it would be very interesting to share this one. Because now perspective is, for me, it's something which has a function. It's something which can last forever, and it's something that is generally just meaningful. So I just read it out loud, and I don't know how to exactly clarify because I nothing thought about that. But something which has a function. So simply, if you have a bike and you want to go somewhere, then the bike has a function. It has a purpose. It's meaningful because it brings you something, somewhere. So if you can find things in life that are meaningful to you, that have a function, then you have a purpose. And the good thing about it is that the purpose never really completes. And now you can get into a lot more depth and detail and so much more cool stuff. And this is too easy, so I skip it. I really need to feel very good. What connects to purpose? Actually, maybe I pause this just for a sec. So actually, I'm just gonna throw this one in and hope that it somehow makes sense when I connect the dots. Wait, where am I? I like this background a little bit more, so we'll actually put down this book for a sec, so I can use both hands. So I've thought about spreading joy as something that would probably be meaningful. And it does serve a function because spreading joy and happiness and kindness also creates not only beneficial hormones for myself like serotonin and other ones that generally contribute to your own well-being, but it also stimulates, or could I even say create, an environment around you that's very, what's the word for that? Very, it's an environment. You create an environment around you, and I know I repeat it again, but I think just a better environment for yourself. A more, there, I'm gonna think in Dutch actually. Prettiger. So I don't know how that would translate to English. Uh, More cozy? No, it's not cozy. Hold on, let me translate. Now I know, because it's a word that I never actually quite use in English. But what I wanted to say is, if you spread joy, kindness, happiness around you, it doesn't only literally affect your own well-being through biology, but it also creates a more pleasant environment to live in for yourself. Because there is never really an ending goal to spreading this, And if it really has a function, then you have a purpose. And that's cool because now you can have something to hold on to, which keeps you can keep you disciplined and motivated because it can last forever. And that's very cool. And then we get somewhere, I think. Because then you're moving towards like this always this called like a life goal or something like that. And I personally believe there is not such a thing. It could be something as a life goal, but I think it's very difficult to formulate, and at least for myself I find it very difficult to formulate. So I personally have not found anything that's my particular life goal. And in fact, if I also feel like that if I have to worry about what my life goal is, I will spend too much of my time. It's not worth it, honestly, to keep on doubting what my life goal is. Just go with the flow and you see it. But having a purpose is definitely nice. And purpose is maybe a nicer word than a life goal because it's quite exaggerating. But why did I bring up goal and purpose in the first place? What does it really link to? And it links to a different video from another YouTuber that I watched, which talked about a lifestyle which is focused around completion versus a lifestyle which is centered around maintenance. And I was like, what is this? Tell me more about it. And I looked at it and I watched that video, and it was super interesting. Because, I need to write this down. I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt this because I need to write this down, otherwise I'll completely forget it. So soon I will have a little interruption, even though I just made the interruption. And you don't even see the interruptions. But I had this video open and I don't think that I can open it, so I need to do it by mind. But it's such a powerful quote and I love it, and I will definitely send the video as well, appending it to this video. It was about how you set goals for yourself and that you have the cycle of initial enthusiasm, which eventually turns out to be disappointment if you don't fulfill. And I already kind of mentioned it in the early steps of this video. But what I absolutely love about this video is it eventually talks about making the process that's required to go to your outcome, reverse the thing where you focus on the outcome instead focus on the process that gets you there. Because if you get a process that brings you joy, then the outcome will inevitably come. And that's so beautiful because it's true. I have also a different video a long time ago. I watched that one. I don't even think I know where I can find it. And it was a guy that was talking about games and how I think everyone knows it, that working towards that specific thing that you want is amazing. Like, let's say in-game item, a specific sword or a quest. And once you completed that thing or obtained that thing that you wanted, then you think like, is this really it? Okay, I've spent so much time for it and now I have it and it doesn't bring me any joy. And I think that's so beautiful for the simple reason that it links so well to this thing here. Because if you focus on the process and the process becomes the thing that you can get joy out of, then eventually you will have an outcome that you're satisfied with, but you have something for the eternity of your life that you can stick towards, and that brings you happiness because you start to value the process itself. And I think I personally in my life can see that the process is often what I find the most important thing in my life, because I enjoy the growth that I get out of something. For example, when I went to Sweden, when I went to Sweden, hitchhiking, couchsurfing and camping, I knew that I wouldn't do that because it made me happy at first. I was like, I'm not a hitchhiker, I've never done it in my life, but after it, or while I was doing it, I was actively learning the skills of hitchhiking, and particularly not really the skills of hitchhiking, like it's some theoretical framework that you can learn, but especially like all of the emotions that get involved with hitchhiking, such as uncertainty about are you good enough to step into someone's car, and how do I behave when someone provides me with a hitch, and when you go camping, do you really need to isolate yourself, or can you just say, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not disobeying any laws by sleeping in this park, and if people are curious who is sleeping in this tent, I can just tell them that. I mean, I can come out of the tent, enjoy my life, nothing wrong, and just be kind, say hi to people, and if they want to know, I just tell them, yeah, I'm a stranger from the Netherlands who just is 3 weeks traveling through Sweden, enjoying my life, and learning a lot. And okay, I went a little bit off topic, but I wanted to iterate, like, it's the process of constantly learning. Curiosity is a great thing because curiosity drives me in life. When I keep on writing down questions and work towards these questions because I want answers. My brain is wired to find answers. So I love it. And to keep on being involved with that really keeps me going. And now I quit real quick, zap towards what I wrote down, and then we get back to the main storyline again. So let's just do it like this. So I wrote down then maintenance versus completion into structure and rhythm. And then bottom here I wrote down like have a goal, make the process the objective rather than the result. Oh, I actually wrote that down before I even watched the video, and it's actually precisely what's written in the video, so I remember it quite well. But maintenance versus completion, I already hinted a little bit about it. So maintenance is something that you could do forever. So maintaining your health, maintaining your physical shape, those things are easy. You just put a little bit of effort into it every day, and eventually you have a sort of a purpose behind it, why you do it. Instead of like, oh, I want to have a good body or something like that, and that's why I work out. It links together with these two lines link together very nicely. But it's very funny because this information comes from completely different videos. 3 different videos in total, like I said, but this is like one that specifically zoomed in on why maintenance works, why completion doesn't work, and the thing that I wrote down like into structure and rhythm is another thing. So I don't really have the completion versus maintenance video in the back of my head right now, and I think there's not much to say more than what I just explained. So I think I can just skip that a little bit, but one thing I again want to iterate is maintenance is focused about something that you would do every day and brings you fulfillment. So for me, the video really resonated because it was like, if I get any happiness from working in the garden or cooking my own food, preparing my own food, better said, doing mental health exercises, that sounds so horrible. But that video also spoke about like taking care of your mental health, and what I mean with that, for me it's mostly journaling, listening to a couple of videos, and a little bit of reading scriptures. So that's really what I would do if I would like to maintain something, because I know that it brings me a lot of value and it brings me happiness and peace. So I don't really mind. So I think there's a lot to gain from that. Rather than completion, where I would of course say like, I need to finish this book. I need to have this much. I need to have this much food from the garden through sowing, etc. Or I need to have this certain amount of health. So again, maybe I heard it there, and then eventually another video made it more practically applicable to me, and it really just sank in. And now I would sort of say this is like a closing off for the maintenance versus completion. So let's get into that little thing that I appended, which is structure and rhythm. Because if you value the process, Um, Not only does rhythm and structure, it's apparently naturally a thing that the brain likes to have. I mean, nature has rhythm and cycles, so it makes complete total sense to me. It also benefits us. I personally would love to have a life where it's not so necessary, not really a necessity, so that you can also have spontaneity, and adaptability to things that are outside of your control, living without wanting to have control over your life all the time. But applying a rhythm to save energy is actually a very good concept, which I really liked about also that video that I already will be appending. So I really like that concept. Um, yeah, and it just nicely links together. Like if you have a process, certain processes can result in a certain rhythm. So, for example, if I want to maintain a good physical shape and I want to work in the garden because I like working in the garden and this eventually yields my own vegetables, then I have a low physical way to maintain the body as well as working towards an outcome. And then you combine it so you can get something which is rhythm. Yeah, can become sort of a rhythm in your life and brings you also rhythmic value because it serves a purpose. And I think I went too much off topic of the goal versus purpose, honestly. But I mean, it's. I think I went too much off topic. So, kind of want to wrap it up here because, like I said, I just feel like it's going too much off topic, and I'm very happy with what I wanted to say. I think that the first things that I told really generally made me happy to share. And the further I went into this video, the more I realized like I'm just rambling a lot of stuff that I don't think. You mean you want to know if you got what I just all said and you got what I all just said, and I personally don't have a goal in life where I say, well, I mean, it could be a goal to convince people to listen to this stuff and apply it to their own life. But like I said, I don't really like goals. I want to have a purpose, and the purpose is more or less making a video because it actually genuinely makes me happy, and sharing certain. That's it. Just making it because it makes me happy, and generally like spreading valuable knowledge, hoping that it serves someone. That's just the purpose on its own, not really a goal. For me at least. So I already achieved it in the beginning, and as soon as I started to switch towards convincing, that's when the joy started to fade away because it's not within my personality to it's actually not. I don't get joy out of discussion or strictly convincing people. I just want to talk down to earth, one to one, like the things that I observe in life, and be like I share it with you, and if it provides value to you, I'm happy that it has. So that's also something that I want to wrap up with, and I do with kind of all of my videos. I always want to wrap up with I just you know do my own research online. I watch some YouTube videos, apply it to my everyday life, and I see what works and what doesn't work. And so it's not really professional advice in any way what I'm giving away here. So thereby, I just hope that this video provides value or is valuable to someone. And even if it's just a couple of pieces out of this video, I really hope that it just does provide someone something. And if you really struggle on a much deeper level, these things can be providing value, but of course, don't take my word for it, and try some things out yourself, or even better, just do your own research. Or if you really struggle, really seek professional help, because there is nothing wrong with that. With having said that, it's becoming a little bit too negative, like always. So I prefer to close off with a positive note. So the positive note really of this video would be like, it's always a difficult one. Like try to find a purpose that you can stick to and always makes you happy, so that you don't need to keep on chasing something you want to complete, but that you keep on not even chasing, that you keep on living a way that is a process that is just bringing you happiness because it serves a function and is meaningful to your life. And yeah, that's all I want to say. Wish you all a great day wherever you are, and hope to see you back in maybe another video in the future. Cheers, goodbye.